Hello, beautiful humans. Welcome back to another episode of Naked Sunday. I am your host, Caleb Nelson, and I have my friend, Miss Sarah, or Mrs. Sarah Meyer, on the show today. Sarah, I'm so excited to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Having me. This is my first podcast, and I'm just excited to be here and to connect with you and with our audience.
I just love you. When I start my episodes, I don't know how many episodes you ever listened to this podcast, and I've just restarted back up my consistency after we just talked about like parenthood did a number on me. I like to start my episodes with why I appreciate my guest. And I already kind of alluded to a little bit of this earlier. You and we worked together, what, 2, 3 years ago now, something like that.
About four.
Stop it, really?
Yeah, 2021. Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
time went real fast. That, Ooh.
You basically
And
blinked and missed a year because you've been a dad for a year. So you've been like keeping your head above water.
just breathing, baby. Just one breath after another. And I was saying to you, like the experience, like your boys were how old when we were working then? What,
Oh my goodness. They would have been 4 and 1.5.
right. So the two little munchkins, and your boys got a lot of energy. And I remember like we'd be on these calls and you're like got one wrestled under one arm and another one on the other one.
Yeah, it's one on top of my head.
You, for one, I really am like was so inspired by your commitment to still taking care of yourself, to still making time for that. So open. Like we talked a lot about relationships. We talked a lot about everything, obviously under the guise of business, but like personal life within that. But just seeing like your strength as a mother and your willingness to just like be in it. And you showed me this different level of like empathy, of witnessing you in this space. And I was just telling you before, like it taught me this moment. You made me better as a coach. Now, I've always been great with kids. We always let kids into our gym. We didn't care because, like, a mom who's just hustling from one thing to the next to bring their new kid, trying to take care of herself. The last thing they needed was me to just like look down my nose at her and be like, "Your child is here," and we had the space to handle it. But virtually, it's sometimes it's different. And you gave me such an insightful experience in serving you that it's like more often than not, it's not about the technical stuff we're doing here. It's just like, hey, can we just share some space together? Like you might feel really alone, like you're balancing parenthood, you're balancing all these other things. And I remember just like talking to myself, like just be here for her. And and especially like looking forward, like I hope when my day comes and I'm going through it, I could be so fortunate to have people show me grace and kindness and love. And as I said before, this past year, I can't thank the people of my life enough for being so kind and gracious in return. I believe that's a life full circle thing. But as I was saying before, you're just being yourself, you have helped so many other people down the pipeline. And I'm just deeply grateful for you inspiring me in that way. You're an inspiration as a human being, and you're such a good person. So thank you for being you.
Oh, thanks. And thanks for pouring into me at a time when I really needed it. Because really, I have two small babies. I have a dream. I have a new gym. I have 0 clients. And we have 2 weeks to fill up 12 spots, potentially more. Well, we fill them up in like a week. So we keep going and then we open up a bunch more spots and fill all those up to pay the gym off in 3 months, which is crazy still to me. Like that is not what usually happens. But I always tell people, parenthood it's different. Motherhood is a different strong because you create more capacity for hard things because motherhood is so hard. So that's the only way you progress as a human being to get any better at anything. It has to be difficult. It's like God throws you into the deep end at the beginning of parenthood because you need to rapidly change. You have to rapidly be less selfish. You have to rapidly grow your capacity. That's why the hard part is at the beginning. So
Mm.
you quit for the rest of raising them. But I don't know, I just thought so much lately about how really our lives here, the intent is us to change and grow and become better and better humans. Some will call that sanctification, whatever you want to call it. And this literally only happens through difficult things. So I'm
Mm,
starting to look at difficult things like, next level. What am I going to gain from this? Right? Because I don't grow unless it's hard. And
mm.
that's what it is. So the moment I realized life is not about feeling happy, that's literally not even the point. That's when I started being happier. That's all you need to know, folks.
Well, there's the podcast clip that's going to be on social media, everybody. Share it with all your friends. All the
That's
moms out there are going to be like, okay, so this is what it is. Wow. Mic drop to start this thing, girlfriend. Wow. Wow. If I wasn't already impressed enough with you, damn.
you embrace those hard things. That is the good stuff, actually.
Mm,
Enjoy the easy seasons because they're coming waves. That's how it is. You can't be under significant stress your whole life. God knows that. You have to be under it sometimes. It's just like training waves. A lot of volume, it's got to come back down, recover. Same way with really difficult life situations.
mm.
You're gonna you should expect to have a surge of difficulty. It needs to come back, or else you'll never continue to grow. So that's my perspective. Makes it a lot easier to get through.
We're going to lean into more of the spiritual elements in a second. I want to hit this first just so we don't get too far before we do this opportunity. Um, you know yourself better than I. How about you share with our audience who are you?
Oh, I'm mom too. I'm a wife of 10 years this year.
Woo!
Crazy. I'm a two-time world champion powerlifter. I've been competing 4.5 years. I have 2 all-time world records, 5 world records. Um, I love strength in general. I always say I'm not really a power lifter. I just love being strong and I do some meets. But my value is in strength in general, whether it's on a platform, but mostly it's in here. And it has to be here to express any other place. So I always say my goal is to show people how strong they are physically, mentally, and relationally, which makes me think about when you were coaching me. You're like, hey, there's 3 areas. You got your business, your family, and your personal spiritual life. And you can't give all your effort to all of them all the time. So I spent several years hammering that business. Now I'm really established there. And now I'm really focusing on my family. And I always think of you because you're like 3 month focus here, 3 month focus here, and doing it very intentionally.
Mm.
Yeah, I own a strength studio in Oklahoma. I have owned it for 4 years, and I teach women groups of four strength training. And so it's really traditional strength training and bodybuilding with some powerlifting flair, I like to say. So my big thing is I want you to feel comfortable in 12 weeks to not need me. But if you want to stay, stay. I want to grow you to be independent and confident in a barbell at any gym. But I have people who've been here for 4 years. So yeah.
Mm. Well, that part speaks to the relationship. When you feel drawn to the people in your space, there's a social accountability that comes to it when they espouse the same values. I always, when I had my gym, it's like, oh, I tried to pitch it more as like, you're going to hang out with your friends. You happen to be working out.
Mm-hmm.
If you already enjoy hanging out with your friends, you might as well be working out. You're eventually going to lose the weight, get stronger, whatever the thing is. If it's only I'm pitching the hard stuff and not the fun stuff, it's sometimes difficult to be like, well, what's the pay? Well, like, let me just make it easy for you. Like, go have some fun. But you have to be so intentional. That's why everything you just shared there about, wow, it's not just about being strong in your body. Yes, that's great. It's a beautiful platform. But what you're talking about is the other areas. And I think some people get so isolated, and that's not as bad. You're going to have a very specific hyper sports performance element to that. And that's for another conversation. But what you're talking about is just being a better person and especially if you probably serve a lot of moms, a lot of women, obviously. What does that mean? Like, what's the trickle down effect from feeling more confident and better suited to like take on your life for your family? I'm sure many of them are professionals as well. So how are you going to show up at work or if you're the business owner, what have you? That's why what you're doing is to create such a beautiful experience and environment. Why wouldn't they keep coming back? It's like only going to make them better.
Culture is absolutely the most important thing to me. And which is what is so fun is every class you come to of mine feels the same, even though it's the different people. Because if you are the leader, you create the culture. The culture is kind of up to you and kind of your fault if it's bad. So if you have a strong cultural presence, you will attract the people that fit in that culture. So I've always had people that really had the same values in here, which is really cool. Because if you just are genuinely yourself and what you embody your beliefs, you will attract those people to you, the people that feel the same way. So it's really cool.
Well, what I really like, obviously I loved working with you. It was incredible. And so I have a special folder for some of the texts you send me, and they're like my little testimonial folder. So when I'm having a really shitty day, I just go read that and be like, okay, I'm doing good things in the world. Like it's okay. So I'm serious. You really inspired me in many ways. I think some people think it's the other way around. Your coach is supposed to inspire you. I think clients inspire coaches far more than the other way around. Like it's an interesting paradigm within that. But one of the things I really admired about you during our experience together was your willingness to just simplify. And we had talked a lot about like there was this vision of big thing, big this, big that, big. And I'm like, girl, as somebody who's done that and the rent that comes with it and all the expenses, you start to make decisions that pull you further away from the values you're talking about that you embody. And sadly, that's where the culture starts to veer in the wrong direction. And then there creates resentment. You start creating burnout cycles underneath all of that. So I really was impressed with that. There's still a text you told, I think it was, and correct me if I'm messing up these details. It was like a friend who also had a gym similar to you, and it like she closed after a certain amount of time because she didn't follow like the longer term vision. I was like,
I can't remember.
somebody ended up closing their gym. It was a friend of yours, if I remember correctly. And you're like, I wrote a post about it called The Tale of Two Leaders. I was so impressed with you. Like your reflections about this. Like I was having a low time too, and you sent me this text out of nowhere. You don't know these things. Like you hit at like the best possible time. I don't know what I was whining about to myself. But what was so cool was to see you work through the things without me there. You talked about making your clients independent. Well, it's not about them needing you. And it's truly about them. Like they can see the things that they need to see. So what I really love is that you had the courage to do the thing that was the long-term right thing. Obviously, it clearly paid out for you anyway, but like in the moment, it's not always so easy to do it. It takes courage to do the thing that's aligned with your values. And that was really cool to me to witness that.
Well, you're talking about simplicity. Literally, that's why I was successful, is that you made it simple enough. You're like, you have two things to do this week and to do them extremely well and often. I was like, okay, that's it. Don't give me three. So, but it was so effective. You were really good about talking me through what is the most important single thing.
Mhm.
Make sure you do that. Then you can move on to the next important thing. What is the thing that is going to drive your business the most? It's probably a hard thing. So give all your energy to it and apply yourself and then see what you have left over afterwards. But I just remember you're like, hey, you have to have X amount of conversations. You have to write down how many got on a phone call, how many of those phone calls were sales. And when I was having a 90% sales rate, closing rate on the phone, you said, get on the phone. That's all I did for 2 weeks is got on the dang phone, shaking, looking at my notes on my piece of paper because I've never sold before. It's horrible. I didn't die, or maybe I did because I can't remember really
There
that
was an
year.
ego death. There was an ego death. That's what it was.
For real, I've had many of those in my life. But yeah, just I'm so thankful I had your support and really your guidance through that 2 weeks. That was an intense 2 weeks.
It was my sincere pleasure. It brings me no greater joy than to witness somebody who is somebody I admire do well. I realized that this about myself this past year is that I get high watching somebody live in, I don't know if you ever read the book, The Big Leap, but he calls it the zone of genius. Like doing the thing they were put here to do. It just like
It's called alignment.
it's called alignment, right?
It's
I
so
love
fun.
watching excellence though, or like true excellence on display. It just makes me feel good inside. And it's not about me. And
Yeah.
like it brings me joy, especially since I know how you're taking care of these people. I've witnessed how you talk about these people that you love and you like pour your heart, sweat, and tears into these people. It's beautiful. And in this day and age, especially I know you're leading from a very soulful, spiritual connection that I think is people are starving for. I'd love to get into this a little bit. People are starving for this. In a way that you're probably not banging people over the head with it. You're holding more or less. I don't know where this thumbs up emoji thing just came from on my computer. So if anybody's watching, got those Apple updates. Um, I see often like these gym or wellness spaces as like almost the modern day church because there's a lack of trust in a lot of church and religious structures. You're giving somebody their body back, and as they say, the body is the temple. So like, what a beautiful way to empower somebody and to not make, as you said, if you're allowing them to like, I want to give you the tools, go do your own thing. It's not
I want to empower them, but if you just want to be with me, stay with me. But I want you to feel powerful enough to do this anywhere. That's really my thing.
what a different relationship. That's not common. For anybody who's listening right now, who's gone to a coach or done any of these things, let's be very clear. This is worth that is what people should know. That is not common when somebody's like, I'm trying to almost put myself out of a job. You should not need me. And I want to change it to a want relationship, not a need. It's not common. And if you hear that, keep going towards them. If you're hearing the other way of like, here's my 75-step program and you have to sign your life away to my billion-year contract or whatever the thing is, as somebody who did grow up in a cult, go the other direction. It's not where you wanted to go.
Fun.
Um, tell me, let's talk a little about like how you've like spirituality, God, your relationship with something bigger than yourself has really impacted you, not only as a business owner, but like as a mother, as a wife, like in your journey, how has that impacted you?
Oh my. How do you even answer that? Because it's involved with everything.
Exactly. So take a shot. I don't know.
But I do want to touch on you were talking about the gym space. And I always say lifting is moving meditation. It's bringing you back to your body. You cannot think about your whole to-do list because you're trying to do all these things properly. You have to go internal, which a lot of people spend no time present in their life. They're never sitting not on a phone. They're never sitting thinking. Well, at least we're being focused on right now, these physical cues, kind of bring you back to yourself and ground yourself and not always constantly being somewhere else that you aren't. And I think that's a practice that really needs to be thought about when we're with our children. When we are at work, we're at work, not anywhere else. And so that's how I would say, like the spiritual piece, you are embodying yourself everywhere you go, is how it should be. And learning lessons from each place for the other areas.
Mm.
With my kids, you need to go back inside. I love you.
They want to make a guest appearance. There you go.
What?
Prancing in. There's the boys.
I don't know. Not in here. I don't have their partner. Thank you though. Okay, go inside.
Good squat, bud.
Oh, can I shout you out real fast?
Sure.
I just want to remind you, actually, I just want to tell all your listeners, when I started with Caleb, well, first of all, how we started is hilarious because I was on a Facebook group where you're just like talking about starting businesses. And I was like, I'm starting a business like 2 weeks ago. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And you just in a comment on Facebook, you're like, well, I mean, we could get on FaceTime and just talk about it. And I literally just got on Zoom with you and talked to you right then. And I didn't have any money to pay you. So you're like, I mean, I'll take you on and then at the end of this, you can just pay me a percentage because I didn't have any money to hire you. And you just trusted that I would sell stuff, I guess. But you're like, yeah, we can just do percentage for this first, amount of time based on what you do sell. And let's see what happens. So really cool. And I just want to say thank you again.
Thanks. I appreciate that. You ever read the book The Go-Giver?
Yes, I have.
I just read it finally. I heard about it. I understood the general premises. There's something when you actually sit and you read it and you fully like commit to the thing of listening.
Present, yeah.
It's just be present. Yeah, right. It's coming up, right? Uh, I realize there's definitely one of those moments in the book where he's talking to the mentor or whatever it is. He's like, aren't you worried that people are going to take advantage of you and this and that? And he's like, I just trust that people will do right by me if I do right by them. So like treat the world the way you wish to be treated in its own thing. And I do think this is a spiritual connection. And if you really operate from abundance, from a place of what I would call unconditional love, it's going to come back to you. And the only reason why it doesn't is because if you really were honest with yourself when you started giving, it was dripping with expectations. It was dripping with secret, unspoken agreements you're making up in your head, and then it's building up these resentments and all these other things. And deep down, like you're setting up a system that you're just trying to control this other person. I when I don't feel like myself is when I'm not giving to people unconditionally. And I think that's with everybody. If we're all really honest with ourselves, giving without expectation is difficult because everything in the world is pitched to be like, this person's an asshole. You're going to get screwed over by this. It's all, I mean, I don't watch the news, namely for this reason. It's classic, if it bleeds, it leads. All it's telling you is that the world is burning all the time.
Yes.
But there's a little thing called polarity in life, and there's just as much good in this world. So I'm gonna go just talk to the people that I think are good, serve them, be kind to them, and it usually works out. So I appreciate the compliment. I didn't expect that, and go figure, I didn't expect anything. You said something very nice about me. I Words of
Well,
affirmation are a thing for me. So thank you.
oh my, that's my,
It's
that's my friends.
That's why we're friends. I see you. I see you, girl.
It's so funny.
I'd be curious if you noticed this too. It's common with coaches that words of affirmation are a big thing.
Oh, that's interesting. I think, yeah.
Consider what we do. We mostly cheer people on all the time. We're giving words of affirmation all the time. It's probably a thing that we need for ourselves as well.
Oh my gosh. Oh, what you were saying about giving love unconditionally. You know, the only reason someone can't or wouldn't is fear.
Mm.
That's the only reason. You're afraid you're not going to get it back. You're afraid you're going to be rejected. You're afraid you're going to be vulnerable, and then they're not going to love you back. That's the only reason. But also, did you know talking about frequencies, the only frequency that's higher than love is authenticity. It's like many times higher. It's so cool to be authentically, absolutely yourself and in your calling. Like it is so magnetic. I just like to meet people who are doing what they're supposed to be doing because it's so cool.
The relationship is easy, ironically. Of all the things that are hard in life, that one's not hard. Sure, you go through hard things together, but the relationship itself kind of makes the hard times, I'll say easy, but easier, more enjoyable. There's the light and the darkness, that kind of concept. I think you'll enjoy this. Have we ever talked about Maslow's hierarchy at all, you and I? No. You mentioned something about, oh, it was with an S before, sanctity, something like that. Oh my God, you said it earlier. It was a great word, and it brought this up. I'm gonna start talking about it. If it rings with anything we talked about earlier, jump in. Um, so Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there's the original one is 5 layers high. The bottom 4 are all about survival. So like food and water,
Shelter.
safety, that kind of stuff, then belonging. And then the top is self-actualization, be all
Also,
that you can be.
belonging is an essential need because it is.
It is an essential need and it's under survival, which would make a lot of sense when we start looking at the world right now that everybody feels they have to be part of a group. Okay. Self-actualization, ironically, is about individualization. So it's, in a sense, getting away from a group. This gets into spirituality. So after his death, his daughter posted the actual real hierarchy, and it's 8 levels high. Apparently, the reason why he didn't want to publish during his time was because it brought up spirituality and um, the psychotherapy field at the time, the scientific field. He was worried they were going to reject it because you see how science, it's a lot right now, it's a lot of like separation. It's very materialistic. That's probably the best word I can use right now. Anyway, when we get into self-actualization or this new level, these new 4 levels that come after belonging, you get into cognitive, which is about accumulating information, aesthetics, which is about beauty. But if you really look at beauty, it's a lot about removal, taking away the things that don't belong, which leaves you with self-actualization in one way or another, truth. But beyond that, and this is where the giving stuff is going to come, is transcendence. Transcendence is about what you leave behind. What I've been thinking about, this becomes a lot about legacy. What are we giving? And in a way, we're never going to receive anything from it. Like practically, we don't get anything from it.
Gift.
It's a gift. It is exactly, that's why I'm bringing it up. It's an unconditional gift that I will never personally receive the full reward from. That in a way could really be called unconditional love. In another way, it could be called God, because many associate God is love, right? I'm keeping it fairly generic and as practical about those terms for anybody who just like gets too caught up in their stuff, or make it more palatable. So that the transcendence thing has really been top of mind right now, when you can give unconditionally and give beyond. Like we're talking about purpose right now. The whole idea of becoming the best version of yourself is to give it all away for nothing, for to receive nothing in return, whether it's to your family, to your community, to the world at large. I think there's something really beautiful about that. Um, did that ring up anything that we were talking about earlier? I can't remember the word that you said something that just really like, oh, we're gonna have to talk about this. We're gonna have to, like, to me, that's what spirituality is. It's almost like becoming the omniscient figure. It's not about credit. It's not about getting your name on statues and bridges and dumb shit like that. It's I gave it and I don't, nobody even knows I impacted them, but they're better for it. And that's okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Or it was sanctification that you were trying to remember.
Sanctification. Thank you.
It's just like what you're saying. You have the ability to give that way when you are higher up, the higher self, whatever you want to call it. Because when you become more authentic in that way, you want and need less. They all say, want nothing, attract everything. Want nothing, give everything as well. You don't have an attachment to things when you're in that state, mentally, spiritually, really, but it's really cool. Like, I don't know if you saw me post about the figure of light I saw maybe like 6 months ago, but like 2 weeks after I saw the figure of light, which was just like basically a figure of a man without a face, made it glowing. I saw like 2 a.m. one night when I was praying really earnestly. It was like covered in sparklers is what it looked like.
Wow.
I saw it right after I saw a dark figure at my door, which I've seen spiritual things my whole life, all kinds of different stuff. I guess you could call me a seer, whatever people call it. But I can see things in other dimensions sometimes. But I've never seen a good figure ever. That was my first time. And to me, it was really just God saying, yes, a presence of evil is very real, but I am real too, and I'm a lot more powerful because that was by my bed. But for like 2 weeks, I was in a completely different space, mentally, spiritually. Like I was almost outside my body, but I couldn't see myself like astral projection, not like that. But where I didn't have any attachments to earth things. And I was like, this is actually what it's supposed to be like. And this is actually what it's like in heaven. I was like, wow, it's weird. But like everything was always all right. I had no attachments, no worries. It was very weird. But it's like I got to see the other side of the veil. What like self-actualization is, to experience, like to feel that attachment to nothing, needing, wanting nothing, being happy with everything. It was so strange, but I still think about it almost every day. But isn't that cool? It just really stood out to me. It's something I'm never gonna forget. Isn't that cool?
I mean, I was hyped to talk with you today already, but damn, just,
I like talking about spiritual stuff. I'll do that all day long.
you know, I'm really enjoying this. I don't think we went too deep into spirituality at that time. Admittedly, I was afraid to start opening that door, even though that whole Naked Sunday thing, I would consider the true beginning of my spiritual work, because all this is really this, and people get weird when you start using the word God with stuff. And so spirituality kind of lands somewhere in this vague milieu. I'm really appreciating where you're talking about all this, because it's necessary, and it needs to come from people that are grounded. Like, you clearly do also the practical things, right? You take care of your family, you take care of your body, you do, it's not just this whimsical thing where
Right.
you see a lot of the woo woo, and I see a lot of woo woo people are not healthy at all. And that's, and you're like, well,
Trying to create a feeling with it instead of realizing that that's backwards.
yeah, well, you're embodying the practices, and there's a lot of people who talk about the practices, but they don't embody it. And then ironically, they become cult leaders. It's just it's real talk here. So I'm really enjoying, which is where our relationship has evolved to, that we can more deeply discuss this. Not that I wish I had led more with it, but what a how did that 2 week experience, or with witnessing that, how has that impacted you? What has changed in how you operate over the past, what do you say, 6 months ago? How have you changed in the way you just arrive in the world?
From the vision.
Yes.
Okay. Oh my. Just not putting as much value on things that don't deserve to have that much value.
Mm.
Really. And honestly, just less of everything. Needing less. Like contentment is kind of a spiritual level and a good one, you know? Like I never was like, that's my goal, be content. But like it's kind of one of the best ones. You know? It's not the American dream thing, but I don't know, is your dream to work 120 hours a week? Mine's not.
Ugh.
My dream is real, genuine, deep, long connections and doing life with people in community, which we've lost so much of over the last 100 years, you know? So we'll carry the torch for connection and coaching.
For what it's worth, I think that movement is taking hold. I think it really is. I went into it at length at the last episode. It's worth you listening to. He's a friend of mine that he just wrote a book recently. Maybe you saw him. I shared a little testimonial about reading his book called The Primordial Code. But we were discussing almost the same thing about this burn the it's almost like worshiping false idols. We're celebrating destroying our mind, our body, and our relationships in the singular pursuit of physical assets. And it's not that like, money is an important thing because we need to operate in this physical world, but if you don't really ask what's it for,
Right.
you're just chasing more for the sake of more, and there's never enough.
No, right. Because you don't
We,
even know.
but that's the irony, is like, I have more, but I still have not enough.
Yes.
Huh.
This can also be not related to money and be achievements.
Yes.
I'm Enneagram 3, so I will progress for no reason but to progress. Paul's like, why? I'm like, I don't know, to get better. Why? to do better. I don't know. That's my nature, right? But then saying, why do I need to keep accomplishing things? Why? I love the word why. Also, if you don't understand yourself or a situation, talk about it out loud and it becomes extremely clear right away. That's something I've learned this year too.
Mm.
So if you see myself talking to myself, no, just kidding.
Listen, you're in good company. Tell me if you're the same on this one. Like when I'm driving, that's probably the best time because I'll be driving and I'll have full-blown conversations and I'll play 3 to 7 roles in a conversation. So, I mean, maybe that's my psychosis starting to come out. When you're driving, it's like it's easy to if somebody pulls up next to you, it's easy to pretend like you're just singing along with the tunes or whatever it's going on. It's bad. It's just always, always going. So you're not alone. That's okay. That's okay.
Yes.
Oof. In business, what like you've owned this thing now 4 years. What's been your biggest challenge in all of business? Like, is there an underlying theme that if you could say this kind of has been something that's been very difficult for me to grapple with?
Starting was the hardest part.
Starting's the hardest part.
It
Wow.
was the hardest part because we thought really hard about how we were going to do it.
Mm,
And so it hasn't been hard to sustain because we opened it sustainably. You and I spent a lot of time on that. Like, what is something you can do a long time given what load you're under, too? Like, it's different if you're a parent or not a parent or taking care of parents. You know, some people don't have children, but they're taking it. There's a lot. People have a lot on their plate. And it's like, what can I do really well under this load? And that's what we did. And it worked. But yeah, I have had phases where I've had more classes and I take more off the schedule, but it's nice that I can morph that to fit my capacity, what my family needs at that time. So that's what I've been able to do. But definitely starting was absolutely the hardest part. But we had extremely good structure in place, which
mm.
is easier to sustain than to start. Yeah.
I mean, you keep making me feel good about myself. So, like, thanks. But I promise everybody who's listening, I did not pay for an endorsement on this one. Like, this is kindness.
Just kidding.
Um, what I've loved, and you know, I think it's probably the reason why it was easy for us to also interact together is there's so many terms you're using in business ownership that are also fitness terms. You've talked about load management, test cycles,
Yes.
and adapting and modifying where I don't think people who I don't think people who have not come from a fitness background benefit from that understanding because there is seasons in fitness. There's seasons in strength or sports. Here's the on season, it's performance and go and push and whatever, but you need the down cycle and you need to like take care of these other things. It's not just this singular show up and play. And that's what's been really cool to hear you talking about that you're treating your business very much the same way you treat your body, your training cycles. Like what's cool is you're able to apply these very fundamental concepts. You're not reinventing the wheel. You're just taking the thing that works because it works biologically, and like now one of your sports is business. On top of sport is being wife, mom, and oh, by the way, damn high level lift like strength athlete. Like damn, I see you just like flexing the abs, like, yeah, I'm about to go for a world record today. Like, okay, no big deal. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
Homegirl's got like 3 times my deadlift nowadays, so let's go.
Definitely the hardest part has been having chronic illness through all this stuff. That's been, if there's one hard thing about business, it's only that. But you know, it's my thing is you don't know when you're gonna get better if you have chronic illness. I've been sick for 2 years, 24/7. It's just nausea, really. I mean, it's pretty debilitating sometimes. But like I could have been like, oh, I just don't feel good. I'm just gonna not do anything. But then I've been not been doing anything for 2 years. That's ridiculous. So you just show up and give what you can. what feels appropriate, and be kind to yourself. And it honestly, you have to go through those things to be a good coach and be kind and empathetic with other people too, and understanding what loads they're under and what their capacities are. But
Mm.
I've always said that's years 17 to 22 when I had such significant musculoskeletal and nerve pain to the point I could not ride in a car for 10 minutes. I could not sit on the floor at all. I was dating Paul. I was like, I'm never gonna have children. I can't physically be pregnant and I can't physically like sit on the floor and take care of them because I had such bad health problems when I was that young. I'm better from that now. It was a severe magnesium deficiency. Basically, I had none, so I was just cramped 24/7. But anyway, so I'm better from that. But I always say that was my first ego death
Mm.
because I was an arrogant little prick and I was so disciplined, you couldn't tell me nothing. People would take pictures of me eating ice cream because I never, like once a year. Like I could do buckle down and literally do anything. Iron will. Iron will. And God said, you are going to be a horrendous coach, so I'm going to fix it real quick. And it's going to take about 5 years. There was my first ego death, and it changed me to the core fundamentally. That's why I'm like, only the best things in my life have come from the worst things. Yes, you want good blessings like a good spouse or something, but that doesn't change you. Not significantly, not quickly. So if you need to grow fast, you're going to have a really hard season. Isn't that interesting though? But that was my ego death to make me useful as a human being, really, but so I could even be useful at all to coach. And I know that for sure. So that's how I view the nausea thing right now. Like I never could understand a low appetite, and now I can.
Mm.
There's tons of people who struggle to eat. It's really common. But me over here, like, oh, I'm still hungry at 4,000 calories. Eating is the best thing ever. I couldn't understand that. Well, now I can because I just want to throw up every day. So, but I am gonna get well this year. And then I'm gonna have so many more tools to help other people and more empathy. So yeah. Bring
What
it on.
I'm really loving about what you're doing right now is you're sharing it while you're in it. You're in it right now. And on the surface, most people will look at you like this beautiful, strong woman, great mom, great wife, all these things, great successful business. She must have nothing wrong. That must be just a cakewalk all the time. And you're like, nah, girl. Like, I'm going through this thing. And what I love is how you're embracing it and not, I'm sure there's days where it's better than others and you're only human. But what you're not embracing a victim mentality. It's not a woe is me, this is all happening to me, my life is terrible. It's somewhere in there, there's a reframing around the pain into this is gonna serve a higher purpose. I really love that. As you're saying all of this stuff, like for myself, when I have those things happen, it's what is this teaching me? I'll ask myself that, and maybe you have a similar saying or whatever it is. I'd love to know what that your thing is. But for whatever reason, I don't remember the first time I did it, but it like took me out of the moment, dropped me in the future, and then like showed me the story back to where we're at. Like, oh well, this is the only way I'm going to learn it, so I guess I have to learn it. It's like going to school, just the school of life instead of, you know.
Well, what you were saying, a lot of it is things falling away that aren't supposed to be there. Well, it's literally like, again, everyone have just different beliefs, but when the scriptures talk about being tried by fire, fire burns things off the outside. That is literally what it does. And it's fast. So buckle in.
Yeehaw, baby. Yeehaw. Let's go. Let me ask this. You're in it right now. You're doing your dream business and it's evolving, it's growing, it's beautiful. You're helping so many people. Like what inspired all of this and how did we even get here? Like your childhood and those types of things. Like what takes you down a path? There's not that many, there wasn't that, at least that long ago, like women doing strength sports or lifting. That was not, I still remember when I was going to college, it was starting to come online. And that was what,
I think
20?
CrossFit really kind of helped usher in, and then they got more to the strength side.
Right.
That was so widespread that people got on a barbell and then started to go to other things. Yeah. I'm gonna let you finish your question first.
Well,
For it.
it's really like something what I've come to learn, something inspired a path. It didn't come happen by accident. Like, where did this come from? There's reasons why a lot of people get in trouble.
There are reasons.
There's always reasons. So like what brought you here? Like from even from like childhood, like what inspired this?
Well, I've always taught. I'm very passionate about teaching. My first job was teaching piano when I was 13, and I would literally the first time we sit down, I'm like, "What do you want to play in? Do you want to play in a band? Do you want to play at your church youth group, or you want to play like concert piano? What is your actual goal?" So some people would pick by ear, some people pick by chord structure, some people pick learning reading music. And I would say, okay, that's what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna teach you so well that you don't need me. I was saying that when I was 13. Okay, that's always been how I want to teach. Because I am here to empower you. That was my word when I opened. It's still in a lot of my passwords. It's a big word for me.
I'll
It's a,
blank that out. I'll mute that. I'll mute that in post.
there's more stuff. You're not gonna figure it out. But and so fast forward to being a teenager, I started, not liking my body, running, dieting, reading bodybuilding.com and not knowing what the heck I'm reading, and doing a contest prep diet for a year. Yeah, really not good. I was 17, I think, eating like 1,200 calories for a year. Anyway, so I had disordered eating. Okay. So I was working out, just like home stuff. I didn't have access to a gym. And then I had a really young PE teacher in college, and she let me go to maybe a 400 square foot gym that was in our little town. And she let me go with her and just follow her around because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And my life completely changed. Like, that's why I say real barbell, like sport feel. Strength training is different than, circuit training in your bedroom. Like, it's gonna feel different mentally. So when I got into strength training, that is when my view of food started to change. And that was really, really powerful for me. And I wasn't always like, oh, I need to be 125 pounds. No, I freaking don't. I'm 150 and I'm like 19% body fat or 18. Like, I do not need to be 125 pounds, But, someone else, that is their body. But strength training changed my life. And people would always be like, you should coach. And I was like, well, I have that desire as a teacher, but I didn't have the right setting, the right vision yet. And so I didn't act on any of it. I also had a newborn and small children. But then COVID happens. And you got your like 5 friends you're allowed to see, and you don't see anyone else or whatever. So we saw those 5 friends every single day because we had gym equipment in our backyard and no one else, no, all the gyms were closed. So for like a year, people would come over like 5, 6 times a week, and we would train in that little space. And the community, the culture, the progress in that space, I was like, this is what I envisioned, and I'm going to create this. And I recreated that feeling in my business. That is how the business actually came to be. Is I saw a community and a culture, and I said, that's it. That's what I've been waiting for, to see the vision, and then I just followed the vision. Yeah. I just went full faith. I just like, it's gonna work out, and it did.
You just talked about things falling away. Man, you're just I couldn't be happier hanging out with you right now. I'm just so happy.
It feels happy to make an impact in someone's life. Like
Exactly.
coaches, because it's so fulfilling.
It's so fulfilling. And it's not even about you. Like somebody else is winning, but you feel good.
When they PR, I feel like I PR'd. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you also know what the trickle down effect of that is like, oh, you feel stronger here and you feel like your confidence just leveled up here. Maybe you're gonna set a better boundary because you feel more confident as a whole in a bad friendship or
I've seen that so much. Bad relationships, bad friendships. Yes, it's really interesting.
the body really is a powerful thing to enrich and it's like the platform that the next the other stuff that's seemingly further away from you is how you tackle that because you build that internal confidence. That vision thing just showed up. It's like you're in my head for all the things I've been writing about and doing whatever for the past few years, like putting all of these theories I have in my head to. So vision, purpose, like vision statements and purpose, what I've long been saying is it's an emergent property, meaning it arises from the stuff. It's already there. You just need to clear the excess. And what you're talking about, this burning away, COVID, what did it do? It cleared a lot of distractions. And here was the thing. Your friends were there all along. The equipment was there all along. It just allowed it to emerge like, oh, bing, I know what to do. And it's there. There's that clarity. So cool. And I think, well, I'll just say what I've witnessed. It took a long time to witness that. It was that so many people are distracted. And distract is another way of saying like they're cloudy in their life. They feel that brain fog. They feel gross in their body because they are eating a certain way that doesn't align with how their body works, and they're not functioning at their highest capacity. So that there's just a fog between them and their higher purpose. So of course they don't walk in alignment because they don't have clarity. They don't know where they're going. So like a lot of this work is about just chipping away, allowing these things to fall away so that clarity on purpose shows up. And then you know how to stay in alignment with all that stuff. It's just like it's like you're in my head today, and I love it. There's just something so beautiful about what you're talking about here.
I can talk about this stuff all day long.
Hence why I was so excited that you were gonna be here. I love it. I love it. Let's move into the fun question because I also want to be respectful of your time. I know that the boys are going to get a little bit raucous soon because they're healthy young boys and they're supposed to be a little raucous, and they would not be energetic and lively if they weren't. So three fun questions. Question number one, and you've already brought that up a little bit. What were the sports or creative activities you did when you were younger, and how did you play them? So, like, what was your style? Maybe you were, like if you were a team sport, like I was a captain or I played all these different positions, or a solo sport or whatever. What was your style?
I'm one of six kids, so there were too many of us to do many sports. I think I did like softball one year when I was 14. That's too late to start, by the way. And I ran track and I was really mad because I got one red and the rest blue. So that's my sports history. That sums it up. And I was actually a musician for 15 years. I played professionally for a while. Yeah. So not too surprising for spiritual people to be musicians. So yeah,
Mm.
that describes me pretty well.
Well, piggybacking on some of the things you were talking about earlier, just like even as when it came to music, you immediately went into being a teacher as well.
Yeah.
Reason why I asked that question when I went to college, I studied kinesiology, and one of the classes was on play. And I kind of poo pooed it at the time. It was like play is one of the most important things you can witness, more or less, because it tells you a lot about how you problem solve, how you think, how you essentially operate in your world. So hearing, oh, well, you operated as a teacher, and it was a lot about community, or I was part of these things, and it's like, oh, okay, like you're still doing that today. You're still using athletics. You're still being creative, creating community. You're still doing it today. You've been the same all along. It was just a matter of putting you in the right thing to fully express all of your gifts. I don't know if you play music for your clients while they're, mid squat or whatever. That'd be pretty dope if we did. Here's a original piece for you to accompany your 20 rep max or whatever, That'd actually be really cool if you did that. That'd be really cool if you do the original pieces.
Just a whole playlist.
Whole playlist.
I have to learn to rap though. That would be difficult.
Uh, question number two.
I have a question for you. What were you
Oh,
saying about worship? Because I want to touch on that.
mm.
Because this is my favorite thing spiritually to think about right now is attention is worship. What you give attention to grows. That's it. Literally just think about that for an entire day and you will rethink everything in your life, what you're giving all your attention to. It's crazy. I've never viewed it that or like phrased it that way in my head, but whoa. Attention is literally like electricity. It is energy and it makes stuff grow. So whatever you're focusing attention or your worship, your focus is gonna grow. Isn't that crazy to think about? Just think about for a day. And you'll rethink your whole life, everything. Especially
Sarah,
if you realize you're worshiping problems. It's crazy though. Yeah,
you're a mic drop machine today.
this is all I think about all day long. I'm not lifting.
You're gonna make my editing of these things almost impossible because there's too many clips I can share with the internet right now. It's so good. I love that.
It changed my whole view of everything.
Well, especially since so much attention is given to materialistic things and taking, like what can I get? It's very self-centered. And again, it's not about, I think there's a very important difference for people to consider this. There's a difference between being selfish for the sake of being selfish, would be more hedonism. And then there's selfish for being for the sake of being selfless. And I say that for the set for a scenario like taking an hour or making time for an hour for you to be selfish to work out, maybe meal prep, whatever, so that you can be better for your family, better for your business, better for like that is very different. There's a self-love in that.
Mhm.
Being selfish in this way of being selfish for the sake of being selfish is I'm just consuming these things just because. And I'm just going to take more and take. It's just self-flagellation as well. And we don't think of it that way. It's just it's worship. That's what I'm trying to say. Like it's worship. You're worshiping false idols essentially.
I've always said Satan does not care if you worship him. He wants you to worship yourself.
Mm.
That's how he wins. He doesn't need you to get to like him. Literally, his cardinal sin was worshiping himself. That's all he wants you to do is worship yourself too. That's a lot sneakier than being like, I'm not a Satanist. That's not what his goal really. His goal is just you just think most highly of yourself than anyone else. That's all. Just worship yourself. That's all he wants.
I'm going to take it another level to this. There's a great way for people to think about winning arguments. People are so concerned about or winning arguments. That's not the right word. People are so consumed about winning arguments in this day and age. I watched, I can't remember what the show was. It was one of those like kind of quirky work comedies, and I can't think about it for the life of me. Maybe like a Parks and Rec or something like that. Anyway, the lead character is kind of like a jerk, and he was great at arguing, and he gets it into with this one person and dismantles this other person, but he never actually confronted the person. And walking away, somebody else asks him, like, he's like, "How did you do that?" He's like, "Because I'm not trying to win. I just need to not be wrong." Why I'm saying this in association with what you're trying to talk about is like if you're not making it about you winning, but if all your idea is to say be distracted, it doesn't need to be about me, but you just need to not be focused on the thing that's right. And you see that in the world right now. Everybody, it's not one singular thing, but there's a lot of self-hate, self-loathing, self-flagellation that's going on because they're so distracted from truth because they don't want to face truth. Sometimes truth stings a little bit. And
It's a lot of work.
it's a lot of work. But in a way that we can use it in a positive sense is if you want to actually build a relationship with somebody, stop being so confrontational and make it more about asking questions. Because what that guy showed in that is like it's more about getting somebody to dismantle their own beliefs. If you ask a great question because you really care about them becoming more enlightened, they need to ask themselves the question. It's not about banging them over the head with it. preaching at people doesn't really work.
No.
The difference there. But I like, and your whole thing about worship and attention really lines up with that. How are you reframing attention in a way that's not about you, but it's actually about the betterment of others? And if all you're focusing on is the betterment of others, you're probably only going to see the betterment of others in the world. You're probably going to be a lot happier too. Damn, girl, that was whew,
All day
that.
long.
There goes my weekend. Thank you. That one I'm going to just meditate on repeatedly. That was
Yeah.
good. Before I go too far down that one, because that's real easy.
Yeah, it is.
Question number two. You're stranded on a desert island. You only get one movie and one TV show for the rest of your life. What is your desert island movie and TV show and why?
I don't know about a movie, but Orphan Black is the best TV series ever, period.
Orange is the New Black?
No, Orphan Black.
What's that?
It is about a girl who sees someone get run over by a train and she looks at her purse and the ID looks just like her. So she takes on her identity. Well, she finds out they're clones and there's like 15 of them all over the world and they all have to find each other and figure out what's going on. It's great. I like sci-fi though, unless it's space, then I don't. I thought you were gonna ask me if you were stranded on an island and had to be alone, would you want to be alive or dead? And my answer is dead. If you ask me, connection is the point of being alive. I would not choose to stay here with the animals. I'm sorry. No,
What do you love about that show?
it's mentally engaging and intriguing. I like interesting topics that I have to think about. You're not surprised by that.
No, God, no. I think the premise in and of itself is interesting, especially if we tie in the spiritual lens to it. If we think of those characters of like the clones of themselves, I heard this statement once. I love it. It stuck with me. I was, I think I was speaking at some seminar or something like that. Anyway, one of the presenters or the hosts said, the people of this room are different mind, same heart. And when we talk about connection, which ties into your like, I would not, if I was going to be on a stranded island, I'm dead. Connection is the meaning of life. What are we really looking to do in this life? Connect to those of like heart and then figure out whatever we need to figure out in this life, right? To save the world, what's going wrong, like let's heal the things. I find that very interesting as I believe the media we continually come back to says a lot about what we engage in, especially if it makes us think more deeply about ourselves. Um, that's I'm gonna have to go check that out. What's that on?
On Prime. It's also 5 seasons, so I wouldn't get tired of it if I was on an island. Practical questions here.
Practical. Sometimes we need practical answers for practical questions. It's okay. Third and final question. What is your deathbed meal?
Oh
And
my God.
who are you sharing it with and why?
Obviously, I want to be with my family, but
That's not always obvious.
one true. I want to pick one person to be Paul, obviously.
Okay.
But literally, he's just the person I'm safest with in my whole life. And that's what it's supposed to be with your spouse, but not everyone can say that, really. But Paul, I hate to say it, it's probably Mexican food. Everyone listening already knows this. Give me that margarita too if we're going out. Lights out.
Going out partying.
Way we've been playing, okay?
You'll like this. So I asked that question a few years ago. I have this saying, who's holding your hand on your deathbed? Perhaps I've shared that one with you. And I wrote a speech a few years ago for when I officiated my youngest brother's wedding. And the thing is called the window in the mirror. The eyes are the windows to the soul, but they're also a mirror. They're showing you a reflection of yourself. And I believe our spouse is, or really the world, but in essence, like especially our spouse is the person showing us the best parts of ourselves. So you talking about makes me feel safe. Probably means you feel safe to be yourself. And when you can be yourself, you talk about authenticity being the highest frequency.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of truly finding the right person for yourself or aligning with the right person for yourself is they bring the best out of you, however their way of doing it is, which is probably the meaning of why connection is so important because it inspires you. You see that in yourself and it wants to come out. So I think that's a really great answer. And who doesn't love Mexican food? That's what's wrong with that. I don't care. I love a good margarita. I stopped drinking a year ago, but like that, yeah, a good margarita. Those are one of my favorite things when I was still having a cocktail every now and then. The overarching theme for all three of these uh questions is a theme of love. Where are you going? You still there?
Put me on speaker because I couldn't hear you.
I
I
can
got
hear you still.
10%, so we'll
There you
go as
are.
long as it goes.
Overarching theme of those three questions is that of love. And I say this because when I was younger, my dad, he worked a lot, but I always knew I was loved. And where'd you go? Back from our quick intermission, everybody.
Okay.
Phone failures, dying, whatever. We got outlets going. Anyway, closing out the overarching story, my father would take me out for a boys' night every 4 to 6 weeks, whatever. We would go to Sports Authority. I don't know if they had it out there. I don't think they have it anymore.
Hmm.
Go look at sports stuff, talk about that. We'd get a bite to eat and we would see a movie. So that was my connection to like love throughout my entire life. And those are the three big things I love to connect through. So that's my way of sharing love and kindness and happiness with you through those things. So there's that. There's those fun three questions. So we've come to the end here. If somebody's listening and they're like, I want to connect with this amazing person. I don't know if you do virtual coaching. I think you do, right? You still do some virtual. And they're like,
Yeah.
maybe I'm a woman who wants to get better shape. I want to more importantly, I want to build a better relationship with myself. I want to be empowered through fitness so that I can be
Yeah.
better in my life, at home, business, everything. What's the best way for somebody to connect with you?
The best place is on Instagram for sure. So it's Sarah_StrongHer Lifts. I do have a website, StrongHerLifts.com, but that's really mostly for local people who, checking out the space and things like that, the actual facility. But if you want to connect with me as a person, Instagram. I'm quickest replying on there, actually quicker than texting.
Wow, that's actually pretty impressive.
And I'm pretty good at answering DMs from, strangers. So if you have a question, ask me a question. You want to send me a lift? Get some technical feedback, do that.
I
Also,
love
right
it.
now I'm offering like a package of one technical session. We can do those over Zoom. Also, I go over 12 to 14 movements in real time so that I can actually figure out what is your squat stance. Like it sounds so simple, but it's not, and having an expert eye on you makes it a lot quicker to figure that stuff out. So I do have a package where people can do 1 month of programming and their first technique session as a package and then just go, to programming after that. So that's what I think is the most helpful thing available.
If any of you are lazy like me and didn't feel like writing that down, don't worry. Just go to the show notes. I will put the link there and you can be able to access it real quick that way and DM her right away, as you should.
Yeah, send me your PRs.
There we go.
Throw
Yes.
them together.
Yeah. Sarah, I am so glad we were hanging out today. I can't believe it took this long to get you on the podcast. That's shame on me for that one, but
Well, the
so
last year doesn't count. So
it's all been a
being a
blur.
dad.
Nobody was on the podcast. Nobody was on the podcast. Not even
Right.
me. I wasn't even on the podcast.
That's right.
But I'm so grateful for you. And before we go, like what final words of wisdom would you like to leave our guests with today?
Sit more when you're quiet. That's all. Most life direction, you just need to be quiet for a minute so you can actually figure out. Our life is not very quiet. It's also too busy. Those are things I would consider. That's
Mm.
what I'm considering at the moment. Yeah.
This might be the episode of Mic Drops because you crushed it. Crushed it.
This
And
is
you
not
left
a fitness
me.
podcast if it's me on here. I'm talking about spiritual stuff.
And here you were worried about your first ever podcast, and you just came in firing with excellence. I'm leaving with plenty to think about from this one. It's
I love
awesome.
it. It's so fun. I just think all day long. That's all I do. Which sometimes is bad, but sometimes it's good.
Mostly good. I'm deeply impressed, and I'm so inspired by you. So
I'm
thank you.
excited to share some concepts and ideas together because
Yeah.
it's really fun.
Oh, I love it.
Think on it and get back to me what you think about stuff.
Oh, I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for coming on here today. This has been an absolute treat. I'm sad that I didn't do it sooner, but you know what? Divine timing works out the way it needs to.
That's right. I had all these new things to talk about.
You did. You did. I love it.
Yeah. Thanks for having
Everybody
me. This is
listening,
fun.
what's that?
I said thank you for having me
Oh, my
and
sincere.
also for your support so I could get here.
It's been my it's been my honor to be able to support you. So thank you for allowing me into your life and doing my small part to help you
Thanks for
understand.
taking a chance on me. You know, think about that though, because you had no promise of any financial payback because you took me on percentage because I didn't even have any money to hire you. I also tell this to my coach too because he answered my lifting coach. He answered my questions for 10 months before I had him start writing for me. And honestly, he took me on like he gave me some stuff at first because I work really hard and it's really hard for me to buy into doing something new. But he took a chance on me. You took a chance on me. What we are doing is showing up for people and taking a chance.
Mm.
I'm going to take a chance on you. I'm going to show you you can do it. You haven't ever done it, but I'm going to take a chance on you. I'm going to invest myself not knowing what's going to come back. That sounds like something else we talked about earlier, doesn't it? Really cool. Coaching is
Cycles.
just doing life together.
Just
That's
doing
right.
live, baby. Just
That's
doing live.
right.
Well, it was worth it anyway, just because you're a good person, and I'm so happy that it's all working out for you because you're continuing to put goodness into the world. So we all win. That's the great part.
We all win.
We
That's
all
right.
do. Everybody listening, I really hope you go right to the show notes as soon as you're done listening to this. Click on the link, go connect with Sarah. You will be happy you did. Obviously, just listen to us for the past, what, 90 minutes. Clearly, you know she's awesome. Now you can just go interact with her for one on one. So go do that.
If you
Sarah,
like these nuggets, follow me on I don't know what it's called. You know, your little group thing on Instagram
yeah,
where you post thoughts. I put quotes in there. So follow me there if you like random spiritual thoughts.
there we go. More
We can
value,
continue this. Also drop some for me so I can see too. We share both ways in there. So
more value. I love it. Everybody go check her out. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your time, your energy with us today. And until next time, I remind you to love everybody.